Sarvopanishad Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana Patavatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdam Gitamritam Maha. The entire body of the Upanishads is likened to a milch cow. Krishna is the cowherd boy. Arjuna is the calf. The people of purified intellect are the drinkers of the milk, and the milk itself is a nectar of supreme devotion and love and knowledge. So good evening, everybody. Yeah. We will I have been told that we have finished the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, so we should start with the third chapter. The commentators on the Bhagavad Gita are various. In fact, there are more than 400 commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita. And somehow, Shankaracharya has kind of set the standard. And they are either against him or for him. The third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is called Karma Yoga. In the first and the second, in the preamble, the purpose of human life has been pointed out, and that is liberation, absolute liberation from the bonds of repeated births and deaths. It was given in an aphoristic form. There were two ideals placed before Arjuna, because he was in a kind of dilemma, whether I should fight or no. These things happen in our lives over and over again. But he was told, stand your ground and fight. So this chapter takes up that theme in a kind of an extensive way about one of the steadfastness that Sri Krishna spoke to Arjuna. The steadfastness of Karma Yoga. He had also placed before him the steadfastness of knowledge, Jnana Yoga. The entire body of the Vedas can be divided into three sections. The first is the ritualistic section, and the section dealing with explaining the rituals, which is very vast. The second section of the Vedas is the meditations, the upasanas, kratu upasanas. And the third section of the Vedas deal with enlightenment, which is the goal of human life. Sri Ramakrishna says the goal of human life is to see God. Oh, really? Nobody ever told us this. Nobody told you. And that's the reason why we've been moving around in circles. We need to have direction. And the scriptures point out this is the direction. You've got to reach here. If you can't do it one time, do it the second time. And if you can't do it the second time, you'll get n number of chances. But you can't escape from this goal, which is absolute liberation. So the scheme of the Vedas is this. The ritualistic section of the Vedas, the meditations, and the enlightenment. And the 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita kind of mimics this scheme. The first 6 chapters of the Gita speak about the steadfastness in work. And it's also trying to kind of delineate what you are. Tvam, in the great aphoristic called Mahavakya, great sayings, thou art that. So the first chapters deal with you, what you are. Arjuna wanted to flee and saying, oh, it's better to kind of renounce all this kind of fighting and we'll go and do our holy begging. We don't want a kingdom. And he was told, you're a coward. You stand up and fight, and that's your duty. And then he places before him what his real nature is. Tvam, you are beyond your body and mind, you are pure consciousness. So he gets a fairly good idea about, and how do you actualize it? Through work, of course. So the first chapters deal with you, Tvam. And the last 6 chapters deals with that. What is that? Well, and the middle 6 chapters deal with the connection between you and that. Well, so it is the work portion, the knowledge portion towards the end, and the middle 6 chapters are devotion to God. Because devotion to God connects us with everything. Everything. You and that. Knowledge and work. And everything in between. Sri Ramakrishna will say, bring in God in everything. God is already there. Try to remember Him in everything. One time, Holy Mother was looking at a novice and he was kind of doing some proofreading, generally. It was Udbodhan, and it was the publication house of the Bengali literature, Ramakrishna Vivekananda. So she comes and says, my child, what are you doing? I'm proofreading. Oh. Can I teach you how to proofread? So the novice kind of smiles, kind of. Mother can barely, sign her own name. So, okay, Mom, tell me. They say, before you start your work, pray. And after you finish your work, pray. And in the middle, when you're taking a small break, pray. And try to remember that this is God's work. That's what we ought to do. Religion is considered so difficult, so abstract. No, it's not. Religion is made tangible, it's made living by Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji for this age. Because that's what dharma is, religion is. The higher aspect of dharma is called satya, truth. Truth which is now encapsulated in your own life, that becomes dharma. And the higher aspect of truth is called ritam. There is something called the universal laws that govern this universe. Like we have a universal law that govern the world of matter, there are universal laws that govern this entire cosmos. It's a spiritual entity. That's the reason why in one of the hymns, Om Ring Ritam, It's rhythm. Swamiji has beautifully described Sri Ramakrishna as rhythm. Rhythm becomes satyam, truth. Satyam becomes dharmam, religion. So, this is kind of more or less the scheme of the Bhagavad Gita. Now, after speaking of the highest truths, in the very beginning, the second chapter, of course, which is kind of strange. We generally like to hear the truths towards the end. You kind of slowly unfold the whole narrative, and towards the end, this is what it is. But Sri Krishna, in the beginning only, kind of gave it, this is what it is. To embolden, to fortify Arjuna. That is what you want. After telling him the highest truths, kind of now begins the process of taking him up gradually to that level. We also know the highest truths. Who is here who hasn't heard that they are the Atman? Everybody knows the Atman. Yeah. But there's a doubt. There's always a doubt. Really, me? Me, Atman? Oh, sorry. So what happens is, a human personality is a cluster of sub-personalities. There has not been a kind of integration. That is the problem. Yes, we are all, here we are like saints, and today's Vespers was so sublime. And we might go out and there might be a road rage. Oh, that person was so saintly there. No, shouting. Hey, what's happened? Hey. So that these sub-personalities need to be integrated. And that is Karma Yoga. That's the reason why the third chapter is begun as Karma Yoga. So, what is the purpose of Karma Yoga? I mean, we know what's karma. Everything you do, or think, or speak, imagine even, is karma. Swami Vivekananda, in his brilliant, you can say, Karma Yoga, every time we breathe, that also is karma. Any kind of movement. The commentator Shankaracharya, in his brilliant introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, speaks about there are two tendencies in the human mind, and for that matter, for everything in this world. One is dispersion, pravritti. It thinks, if a person is saying, you sit down quietly, don't do anything, that guy might go crazy. He'll go out, he'll look around and keep on thinking all crazy thoughts. And after a while, that person gets tired of all this. Let's sit down quietly. So there's a tendency for dispersion. Your mind will not let you sit quietly. It will throw you off your center of gravity. That's what the whole thing is. It's pravritti. And then you get tired. Let's go back. One of the great songs that Swami Vivekananda sung to Sri Ramakrishna was, "Oh my mind, let's go back to your home. Why are you moving around like a stranger in this foreign land? Let's go back. Mano chalo nija nikitani." It's a beautiful song. So both these tendencies are there of the mind. One is dispersion and one is nivritti, to come back. So the process of Karma Yoga is to kind of make sense of this dispersion. And the path of yoga, that is jnana yoga, steadfastness in knowledge, is when you start circling inwards. So Swami Vivekananda used those two beautiful words, circling outwards and circling inwards. Both these processes tear at our souls. We are ripped by these two tidal forces. We need to keep a kind of a equanimity, balance between these. So the process of karma yoga begins with this thought of equanimity, balance. He has already spoken in the second chapter, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Yoga, what is yoga is equanimity. And yoga karmasu kaushalam, that is, yoga is dexterity in action. You've got to be dexterous. Arjuna was ambidextrous. He could shoot with his left hand or right hand, shoot here, there. So we think of yoga is some kind of contortion. God, why do these people invent such torture and call it yoga? When we were young, we were saying, I like one asana. Yes. Relax. But that is the most difficult, in fact. It's, you just don't, your body just doesn't want to relax. So, but then, each yoga has its purpose. So, after him telling Arjuna about these two paths, Arjuna kind of questions him. Well, the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, of the third chapter is, I'll read Sanskrit and then I'll take the translation. Arjuna vacha jayasi chet karma naste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshavaha. O Janardana, that is Krishna. Why Janardana? He had used various names and appellations. Ardha is to worship. Jana is by the people. One who is worshipped by the people is Janardana. So, O Janardana, that's Krishna. If it be your opinion that wisdom, jnana, the steadfastness in knowledge, is superior to action, that's karma, obviously. Knowledge is superior to action. Why then do you urge me to horrible action, Kesava? Even now he's trying to extricate himself from this impending war. Why? Because he sees his teachers, gurus, his grandfathers, his cousins, his friends, relatives, all arrayed before him. Either they kill him or he's killed. And it entails a massive destruction. It is true that there was a massive civil war. There's a Swami in Hollywood, his Shiva. He talks about, we had a civil war. Yeah, I know. You had a civil war. 600,000 people died. Do you know that? Brothers fought against brothers. Yeah, I know. I read a little of it. Yeah. I told him, even we had a civil war. Yeah, that's the Mahabharata. Yes. It was a civil war. And in that, millions of people, soldiers were killed. And India learnt its lesson, no more wars. That's why India never went out to conquer. It is never a conquering nation. Better to conquer your soul than to conquer anyone else. So he's caught up in the middle of that kind of massive civil war. He's saying, I know there will be no mercy on either side. And Karna, who was actually the eldest of the brothers, they are called 5 Pandavas, 5 brothers, but actually he was the first. There were 6 really. He was born illegitimate, as they say. And the mother Kunti was afraid. What is going to happen to me? She placed that babe in a reed basket and set it down a float. Like you find it in Moses, the story of Moses, similar. But this happened maybe 1,000 years, maybe 2,000 years before Moses. So, and a poor couple found a babe, and they were childless and they were full of joy. Wow, this is for free. You don't have to have got all the legal hassles. Yeah. Right. And he grew up, he became a warrior, and a long story. But he was one of the greatest warriors there on the battlefield amongst the millions arrayed. And he had vowed to kill Arjuna. That also was there, my God. Just before the war, the Kunti, the mother of the 5 Pandavas, and along with she went and approached him. And that was a very, very touching scene. When Karna knows the truth, that you, O my son, please don't kill. So he had said, at the end of the war, you will have 5 children. Either it's me included, alive or dead. So somehow Arjuna, he knew things were going to happen there. So apart from the extrication, to come down to this. So he's saying, if it is your opinion, matta tvaya, he's saying. The word used is buddhi, wisdom. Buddhi is intellect. You know, when you pray to God, pray for enlightenment, not pray for, oh God, I've got a headache. Please take care of this headache of mine, and please give me this. Don't do that. The whole Gayatri mantra is just praying for that dhi, dhiyo yo na prachodaya. May my dhi, my purified intellect be awakened. That's what we need to pray for. Swami Vivekananda, pray for knowledge, pray for light, pray for love. Don't go to a king and say, I want a few pumpkins. We have a Halloween coming around. I want a few pumpkins. Can you give me a few pumpkins? God will say, this is a crazy guy. He's come to me to ask pumpkins, cheap things. So, the word buddhi is used as a kind of upalakshana. That is a kind of a symbolic way of wisdom. But that is where knowledge flashes. That is the highest tattva, element within all of us. It's like, these lights are being reflected all over the place, and kind of in the wall, in wood, floor. But it's in glass, it's reflected the most. So the light of consciousness which is in us gets reflected the most in what is called the buddhi. You got it? It's reflected more in this glass than in the wood. And that's where you need to go to seek enlightenment. And where is the buddhi? It's like asking the people, where is the I within you. You have based your whole life, you structured your whole life on this. I am this, I am that, I like this, I like that, I'll go here, I'll go there, Where is this I? Try to find out where exactly it is. You can't find it. It's defined. Brahman has two aspects. The defined and the undefined. That part of you is undefined. Then what is I? It's a kind of a declarative memory, just nothing but memory. You've laid down a kind of a memory, long list of memory. I like this, I went to this school, Here. Get a hit on the head and this I becomes something else. Yeah, you might lose consciousness of where was the I? Yes, it kind of goes away in deep sleep. You notice it? When it goes away in deep sleep, the world and your body also goes along with it. Very strange. And when the I emerges from somewhere, I don't know where, you emerge, your body emerges, and the world. The body and the world is not different, made from the same material. Try to find this I, impossible. So defined and undefined, the gross and the subtle, the formed and the formless. So how do we then grasp this buddhi which is there in us? Well, we are first told to kind of locate it in a particular spot. Then meditate on that spot. And then as you keep on approaching that particular spot, you will find that what you're looking for. Until your understanding does not become abstract, to hold on to that abstract sense, it's very difficult. So when we know a person is knowledgeable, a person is wise, and a person is intelligent, that's a manifestation of the buddhi, that intelligence. So he's saying, if this is superior to action, work, why do you then insist that I fight? I try to take the path of karma yoga. It's obvious he is not yet ready for the highest truth. Even Swami Vivekananda, when first he goes to Sri Ramakrishna, second time, Sri Ramakrishna touches him and, what are you doing to me? He's seen this, the walls and doors and floor and everything, whirl and merge into the void, along with his individuality. What are you doing to me? I've got my father at home. And Sri Ramakrishna touches him again, okay. Let it remain now, you will get it later. Let it remain. That's what the whole thing is. Even he wasn't ready. Forget Arjuna. Though he had gone through a long course of scriptural study, as well as since he was a warrior, he went through a course of the art of warfare. He was, you can say, acquainted with the scriptures. But when the time comes, when you're crushed by all this whole world, then you forget the scriptures, and forget everything. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, well, if you teach a parrot to say Radha Krishna, it'll keep on saying Radha Krishna. And when the cat comes, it will squawk like a parrot. It will forget all your Radha Krishna. That's what happens to us. But that is the test of his steadfastness. So he wasn't ready for a higher aspect of this knowledge, steadfast knowledge. He was eligible for the steadfastness in work. So that's why he's saying, "Oh Janardana," that is Krishna, "if it be your opinion that wisdom, buddhi, is superior to action, karma, why then do you urge me to horrible action?" There you go. It's not horrible, it's kind of, ghor, it's kind of terrible. The word is terrible. Ghor, terrible. That is asking him to fight the war. All work entails some injury to something. And it comes back to you. That's a problem. Because that's the work, karma, is designed that way. This is the police here. You don't have to have New York Police Department. This is the police here. Yeah. Comes back to you. Everything we do comes back. I generally give a kind of a illustration of, we've been throwing plastics all over the place. They are coming back to us as microplastics. Take it. It's yours. No, it's not mine. Yes, it's yours. You've chucked it out. You take it now. It comes to you. It's kind of, you send a thought out, it circuits the universe, comes back to you. And in the interim period, either it becomes powerful or diminished a little. But it has to come to you. That is the law of karma. It may take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe 2 hours, or maybe 100 years, 1,000 years, but it has to come to you. So work properly, with attention, with devotion. These things also will come to you. It's not only the bad things come to you, the good things also come to you. And when it goes and circuits the universe, it helps other people also. That's the idea. That's the idea of Karma Yoga. In fact, Karma Yoga is the ideal for this age as preached by Swamiji, because it's going to help everyone very subconsciously, subtly. It's below the radar. You won't even know you're being helped. Who? By somebody else. Some people, some far off people who are praying or maybe sending some good thoughts. It's helping you. We are kind of interconnected in a very, very, very intimate way. This whole universe. When we talk about a universe, we talk about the universe of the living human beings. No. That's just a kind of small spectrum in the whole existence of this world. Yes, we generally, this universe, we are. Just a fraction of what this whole universe of the living and the non-living also comprises of. Everybody is working. We act and react on each other. So this, once you understand the dynamics, what it does, it purifies you. Karma Yoga purifies you. You become unselfish. You become loving. And that are the preconditions for steadfastness in knowledge. There. So he's trying to encourage Arjuna into this kind of integration, this kind of unselfishness, this kind of purification. So we can take the next verse, of course. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasiva me tadekam vadanischitya yena shreho hamapnuyad. You seem to bewilder my mind by a seemingly confusing statement. Then you tell me, then can you tell me, actually it should be the translation, for certain, by which I may attain the highest good. Tell me with certainty through which I can attain the highest. So he is ready for kind of to sacrifice. You see what happened? Humankind has kind of intuited from the very beginning that human life has to be based on sacrifice. It's everywhere. Everywhere, in all religions, and even those kind of religions that we don't know of, there's an element of sacrifice. It's not just pouring those oblations into the fire. In the Bible, you have Cain and Abel in the very beginning, offering sacrifices. And you have everywhere the idea of sacrifice. It's there. Why? Because that's the only way to rise. A nation, a state, a human being rises through sacrifice. Individually, you raise yourself by sacrificing the lower things. Somehow we have understood this principle of human life. Yeah, we have understood it intellectually. But when it comes down to, oh no, that's my hot dog, I'm not going to give it to you. There you go. So because we know that if your life is based on sacrifice, we gradually ascend to higher and higher aspects of our own individuality. And either it's offering fruits or flowers, or in the Bhagavad Gita I will say, anything you offer me, fruits, flowers, or even water, I accept it. In the 8th chapter, you're saying, I am the Lord of sacrifices here within the body. Yes, one of the questions was, Adiyagnya hamevatra deha britambara. I am that. The Lord of sacrifices is there within each and every one of us. So, we offer our bodies and our minds and our spirits and everything we do to that Lord of sacrifice. And we grow. So Arjuna was ready for this growth. But he's saying, you've confused me with these contradictory statements of knowledge and work. Tell me for certain which I should follow. It's always like, no, you want directions. You have Google Maps also nowadays. You want directions. Yeah. So this is, he's saying, don't bewilder me. I'm bewildered by your statements. You see, the Lord is in a kind of a hurry to try to lift his spirits up. He had said certain things, and now he's saying, which one should I follow? When you hear about Karma Yoga, oh, this is the path for me. Then if I speak about Bhakti Yoga, oh, this is what it is. And if I speak about Raj Yoga, I'm a kind of a Raj Yoga, I'll Raj Yoga. And then Jnana Yoga dismisses all these things are rubbish, and yeah, there's a kind of a glamour there. Yeah, this is a royal path. I'm fit for this. Then somebody tells you, you're confused. You don't know what to do. It's like you're digging a well here, you don't hit water, you give up digging there, you come out here, and then you start digging, you don't get it, the whole place is pockmarked with holes. You just pock holes. No water, just digging around. So, I don't know, I don't want a pockmarked surface. I just want to know exactly where to dig. Tell me this. And I'll start digging. for that. Okay? Tell me when to stop. I'm kidding, man. In life also, we have these various contradictory ideals placed before us. Always. Something appears on a mental horizon that's alluring, kind of, yeah, this is what I want. And then, after a while, like the grapes are sour. Yeah, kind of grapes are terrible. I wanted those grapes, but now they are sour, I know. Even though I have not tasted it, they are sour. I'll go for something else. Maybe I'll go for some mangoes. We are always buffeted with different ideals because this world is like this. It presents before you different things. And in this world is an expert in packaging. It packs things, maybe inside it's just a kind of empty kind of box. A small chocolate probably, but the wrappings and the covers and everything is, wow. You have to pay more money for the wrappings than the chocolate. And you think, oh, here it is. Oh, thank you very much. Open it. God, what a insignificant gift is this. But for that moment, you're delighted until you open it. So various ideals are placed before us. We see somebody, that's what I want to be. After a while, you see all the defects in the kind of act. You get married, and after a couple of days, you say, that. Okay. I know. Just packaging. Sad, terrible. So, you have to be careful. I'm not trying to dissuade anybody, but just want to learn to have that insight. Not that it's not there in us. We are not careful. If we spend a little time on a particular thing, have that insight, you can see those things. Then your own confusion go. You don't need to run to the New York Public Library. Let's research this, what's that? No. Somewhere in your own heart, you know this is true. And people say, how do we know this is true or false? Which book says this? I say, you don't have to have a book to tell you that. You know exactly what is right and what is wrong. You know it, you don't acknowledge it. This sense comes around 10, 11 years, when the ego is crystallizing. So you know exactly. That's why you don't need to be moral by reading a book. Oh no. There was a kind of an argument. How do we know this is right and this is wrong? You mean you need scriptures to tell you this? Oh. The 10 commandments or 20 commandments, 100 commandments? No, you don't have to. You don't bother about that. Your own heart will tell you. Besides, as we are growing up, we can kind of abstract an ethical standard by observation. We observe people, our parents, our relatives, everything, and we kind of abstract an ethical standard, which is constant. It's dynamic. As you keep on growing, that also keeps on growing. You know. You don't need books to tell you this is right and this is wrong. You know it. Your heart tells you. Try to listen to that heart of yours. Thou shalt not kill. Yeah, I know, of course. Actually, God told Moses that's why you should not kill. Well, if you want it like that, it's okay. But Vedanta will tell you, get back in, get inside. remove of all supports. The only support will be your own self. If you can do that, you're a Vedanta. If you're clutching at straws, you might be, in India we have Vedanta. Sometimes, especially in Bengal, they'll pronounce it Vedanta. Means without teeth. Vedanta means also without teeth. Toothless. So you'll end up with that kind of a Vedanta. Danta is kind of teeth, Be, without teeth. Toothless. So instead of Vedanta, it becomes Vedanta. Kind of toothless, without teeth Vedanta. So get out of this clutching at straws. Get out of this clutching at this and that and this confusion. This world has a degree of uncertainty. Yes, that's true. This world is imperfect. You ever doubt? You will never get complete knowledge of it. Like, take for example, the biologists thought that after knowing the cell, now we can relax. We know the cell. Yeah? No? There's a whole universe there inside. And they're digging and digging and digging, and every time they're coming with new things. Same with the atom and this and that. The whole universe is connected to that cell or to that atom. The whole universe is connected to you. Don't think it's a kind of a poetry. You are connected intimately with the universe. Study yourself, you have the knowledge of the universe. That's the idea of Vedanta. Nobody told us, we have helium, the sun. Nobody told us that that person who went there to the sun, he discovered helium there and he came back and told us. No. We did it here. Simple as that. Why? Because we know the spectral lines, absorption, and we know what's atoms, and there it is. We never needed to go to the sun. So in you is that mighty knowledge of this whole universe. This is the first step in being a Vedantist. Seek within you. And if you can do that, I go inside and see, I'm so selfish, I'm irritable, I'm angry at times. No. Beyond those waves, is that real you? Go touch down deep, there will be no confusion there. All the confusion and all the different ideals and everything is just on the surface. Plunge inside. Shri Ramakrishna is saying, dub, 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 rup, sagar, amar, man. Dive deep, O mind, in the ocean of God's beauty. And there in the uttermost depths you will find the pearl of great price. This is the idea. So these two questions of Arjuna is, if knowledge is superior to action, why do you tell me to fight? And you're confusing me with too many things. Not too many things, just two things. You give me steadfast knowledge, steadfast in the next. Swami Vivekananda wanted both to be combined, of course. One is preparatory. Karma yoga, you prepare yourself. And then it leads you through sacrifices to purification to the higher aspect within you, which is a knowledge aspect. As I said, the whole universe, the knowledge of the whole universe is within an atom. In Hindi, they say, Bindu mein Sindhu. Heard of this? That the whole ocean in a drop of water. We see the drop, you're wrong. You see the ocean in that drop? There, that's knowledge. Till you see it as a drop of water, you are competent for work. Do karma yoga, simple as that. When you can see the whole ocean in that drop, then you don't need to do any work. Why? Because your desires have become universal. You're self-fulfilled. You don't need anything anymore. You don't need a shoulder to cry. Oh, there's no one loving me. Really? That is one big cry of the human soul. Love, 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 love. Why? So many movies are written on, books are written on, movies are played. There's one theme that is engaged. Either we've missed a bus or we are in the bus. Or sometimes the bus comes to a standstill and there we are. Why do you discuss something which is your real nature? So somebody had come to me in Hollywood saying, nobody loves me anymore. Yeah. I asked her, who do you love? I don't love anybody. That's a mistake. Nobody loves you. So how do I? Keep on loving people and people will love you back. You'll be full of love. You will be so full of love, you will not need anything anymore. This is your basic nature. Why should you ever kind of doubt this? So Arjuna is it's naturally. See what happens is just okay. With the din of war, in the old days, the soldiers hitting their shields with the swords, and the horses and the mules and it's a big, one noisy place to be standing there and speaking all these things. Obviously, what happens is, as both of them are discussing this metaphysics there on the battlefield, Arjuna was he swooned, he's saying, I'm feeling feverish, my bow has fallen out of my hand, I can't stand, he's sprawled down on the chariot. While Sri Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, at the same time he is aware of the entirety of the battlefield. And he knows the signs, what will be the outcome. Yeah, a good commander, he knows. He or she, sorry. So, he understands the larger picture. He can see things. Well, Arjuna had kind of closed himself. That's why he's saying, I'm confused. Yeah, confused. Okay? Not yet. Oh, then we can... Oh yes, then in that case, yeah, we'll leave some time for the questions. And next Friday, we can take up Sri Bhagavan, what the Blessed Lord said thereon. Okay? We hope. I thought I could take at least 4 or 5 verses, but just 2. Yes?
Swamiji, I have a question. You said about that Sri Ramakrishna said the goal of life is to recognize...
See God.
See God. When does a human being recognize that or realize that that is the goal? Because we are always going through life with all these multiple different... So
when the sun, when it shines, it does not need another sun to tell it, yeah, the sun has risen. This is truth, you will know it. This is the speciality of spiritual knowledge. There will not be doubts. If you see Sri Ramakrishna, are you going to say, are you real? You may rub your eyes or something like that. Spiritual knowledge is always free from error. Always. That's why the Upanishads say, Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. The knots of the heart have been cut asunder. All doubts have dissolved. That's what. All other knowledge is beset with doubt. Like, we have this Kurt Gödel's incompleteness. Nothing is ever complete. Nothing can be ever perfect. You can never have a perfect cup. You might go, I can improve a little on this. I keep on polishing it. And somebody else comes, I can improve it even more. And keep on and on and on and on. It will never be a perfect cup. We will strive to make it perfect. It will never be. Objective knowledge is something like this. Subjective knowledge is free from doubt. Okay? So you will know for certainty that yes, this is what. And, I remember one time, I have a friend. He's, of course, now in Indian Kerala. We were novices, and, in Belur Math, in those days, there was no fan to keep you cool. So it's hot, sultry, humid, and it's night. We've just put up the mosquito nets because otherwise the mosquitoes will kill you. More people have been killed by mosquitoes than any other. Yes. And yet we are so insignificant. No. So, so we are sweating. It's the middle of the night. We can't sleep. And we've got to get up in a few hours to go to the temple. So we're talking in whispers. I said, Rajan, now if Sri Ramakrishna walks in, and we need to keep our doors and windows open for a little breeze to come. We cannot keep open. Everything is open. So, no. I want to. Why? No, there's so much to do. So much work yet to be complete. I'll tell him to come later. But why? No, I'm not ready. Then he said, I'm not ready. Say that way. When you are ready, come. Of course, we've been in touch with him. He now heads the Trishur Center. So after a long time, I was saying, hey, are you going to say that again to Sri Ramakrishna? No, don't come. No. We were all young then. When you are ready, really ready, the mother is waiting for us. There's no doubt about it. So mother, Sri Ramakrishna said, when the child discards the toy, just throws out the toy and it weeps for the mother. The mother comes running. We have not yet come to the stage of, forget this knowledge, we have not come to the stage of being restless for God's vision. If you have that, then we know, as Sri Ramakrishna says, when the eastern horizon has got that dawn, we know the sun will rise. So before the vision of God, you will be restless to see God. It will reflect in your character and everything. There. So do you know? It doesn't fall out from the skies. You've got to, like there's nothing free, in this world, universe. But the air is free. Yeah. Keep on breathing. You'll diminish your lifespan. Breathe slowly, like these reptiles do, and they can live for a long time. They have a very slow metabolism. Air is free. Nothing is free. You should know.
Swamiji, if you don't
Karma
Huh?
Buddha, Lord Buddha, Karma and liberation. We are little bit, Buddha realized he is himself the God and liberation. And he showed the path, Karma Yoga can be possible.
It's not Karma Yoga then.
Not Karma Yoga.
The scriptures say there are two aspects of karma. One is the Karma Yoga aspect. You keep on doing it and then you have a realization. And then after that, you've set in motion something, the momentum is carrying you forward. It becomes Loka Sangraha, the welfare of the world.
That he did. And can also, do you think, Swamiji, when Buddha encountered the three states, that everything is false, then he gave up everything, that is a kind of awakening sign, no? That when he encountered that people are dying.
It is a kind of, they say that it never really happened. It's kind of, they've put, the life of the Buddha Charita was written after he passed away. So, Buddha Gosha's Buddha Charitra. But then, yes, it's a kind of popular thing. When he's seen an old person, a sick person, and a person who is dead, kind of awakened. You see, don't class him with ordinary mortals. They are a class apart. They are incarnations. Like Sri Ramakrishna says, Swami Vivekananda, Niranjanananda, Premananda, Swami Brahmananda, and Purna Chandra Ghosh, they were Ishvara Kotis. They were a class apart. They cannot be confined within our parameters. And we are all Jiva Kotis. We are just souls. Ordinary souls. We are born by what we have done in a past life, or even this life. We are constantly doing ourselves, molding ourselves. So, they are not born out because of karma. They are born out of a special need of the universe. That's. Oh, you were saying something?
Going back to the goal of life questions, Swamiji. So we start life not knowing that that is the goal for human beings to realize.
You start
So
in the old days. In the old days, it was you start growing up in that kind of tradition, that kind of religious tradition. When you see a father and a grandfather saying these prayers and this and that, child kind of, he gets an orientation. In today's world, by the time we grow up and we learn, we read something, oh my God. Is it too late? No, it's not too late. This is what it is. Now that you know, it's there, it's there. It doesn't matter. So, is it difficult? Not difficult. Just like I said, try to keep remembering the Lord in everything you do. That itself has a tremendous power you might not realize. So the mind is restless, a little girl kind of. But it is now, has got a kind of a direction. Suppose a sun was to come in this room, how do you like it? Will be scorched. So God in His infinite mercy does not come with the whole thing. He'll give you a little part. Just enough for you to digest it. Arjuna was asking for it, saying, I want to see your form. You can't see my form with these eyes. I'll give you these divine eyes. Now see this form. And what happened? He got terrified. Oh, so I'm sorry. Terrified. I just want to see your old form with that handsome, beautiful form of yours. I don't want to see this. We are not ready for that. The universal form of God, Vishwarupa. Your Sarvapriyananda's name is Vishwarupa.
Yeah.
So we are not ready for that cosmic vision of God. So God in His infinite mercy comes down to us like this. And God will first appear to you like this. Now, please don't understand that this is the whole of God. Never, never, never. This is the doorway. You enter here. It's like, no, you enter one room and you'll find a door at the end of the room. You open that, it leads to another room, and then you another room, and another room. This is the doorway. One of the purposes of an incarnation is to have, and they said, Archana Murti, to have a form that's going to be worshipped. This is the form that's going to be worshipped. And this is what it is. So, you enter the doorway and enter in. Then it's, the Lord is pulling you inside. Slowly take you. When is over? Well, when you are not there, you will find there is only God. Shri Ramakrishna says, when I look inside, I find nothing but God only inside. Okay? Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.